with friend and fellow co-coach Alison Keller. And Alison, this concept of contracting, what's all that about?
In team coaching?
Yeah.
My experience of the contracting is dial up really, really strongly. I guess I hear Tammy Turner in my ear around that one, because Tammy's very much an advocate of the contracting, and I can appreciate the benefit really in what I've experienced with contracting now in teams.
Yeah.
And some of the pitfalls, I have to say, for not contracting when a team might change direction after it's been contracted at the beginning, and the expectation maybe to have a year's journey or even 18-month journey.
Yeah.
And naturally life comes in with curveballs. And I think that's one of my lessons is recontracting when it's to do with the goals or the team objectives.
Yeah.
It can be tricky to miss those moments and to be able to really be quite clear what's happening, what changes are in place.
Yeah.
So that one jumps out as a kind of experience that I've encountered along the way.
Yeah.
How about yourself?
Well, certainly talking about Tammy, I remember in the training, you were always contracting was one of the phrases that came, which was really stuck in my head, because I've had some terrible experiences of sloppy contracting, going into hope and expectation, where we've got to actually be clear on expectations, clear on the cadence, and how we're forming a bond and a contract to achieve what we're saying we're going to set out to achieve. So for sure, that's a big learning space.
Yeah, and I think the other observation I have with the contracting is that you've got layers again there. You've got the contracting of the assignment, you've got the contracting of the sponsor, you've got the contracting if the team leader's different from the sponsor, you've got the contracting with the team, and then you've got the contracting kind of in the moment as well. So contracting is present all the time, and it really helps.
I think sometimes that word has a binding sort of legal inference sometimes, and I know that can alert the wrong emotions per se, maybe a purchaser of the services. I know years ago they say, don't say the word, just say the agreement or the paperwork. But it's we've got to be clear, haven't we, what we're setting out to achieve.
Another way of maybe describing it is setting expectations. I think that's probably quite palatable for people to understand. That's important part of contracting, but it's about setting expectations with each other. And I really have found that beneficial, especially in the early stages with a team, setting expectations for the coaches to understand what part we're playing, and setting expectations for the team, for each other, to understand what are we signing up for, and what are we giving feedback to each other on. And even the team leader has a part to play, expectations that the team leader has of the team, and the team's expectations of the team leader. That sometimes has been quite a game changer in the work I've done with teams. They've really valued that. And it's not the conversations that they've been typically having. So, that's one of my insights, I would say.
I guess it's kind of case in point for us together, isn't it, really? Because we're potentially looking at a client to work together on, so we'll be ourselves literally working together how we contract and work together. And then into the co-coaching space, which is perhaps another area for us to talk a little bit about, the contracting and the co-coaching dynamic. What would be your take on that dynamic?
Yeah, that's another area, Chris, that I've found valuable in working with other coaches. The contracting at the beginning, so really getting to know each other. So I guess you and I have the chance to understand our style, what our strengths are, where our areas, what complementary skills we have, and what diversity that we have that we can bring into the room. So there's quite a bit to unpack and explore, and also expectations of how we then work together with the client in a way that they get the best version of us coming into the room. So complementary skills I found really helpful. Role modelling collaboration. You don't get the chance to do that if you're on your own as easily. So there's a real strength in being able to role model behaviours with the team so that they get to experience transparency, vulnerability, just being real in the moment and not hiding things, not always having the answers. So that really works well. And then I guess the other one is the opportunity to observe. So with two coaches, you can partner up in a way where someone's looking after the content and someone might be looking at the team dynamics and more the helicopter, and you can interplay with that. But you get so much more of the landscape, so much more that you can share with the team with having two of you partnering together.
I think it's worth saying it's like a mass energy field. This whole experience, there's so much energy and body language and non-verbal, it's like a maze. So if you have two coaches in the room with obviously two sets of eyes and ears, personally, I know we're probably biased, but the co-coaching model is far more positive, creative, influential, and safer potentially for the team when you're seeing things that others aren't. And I guess we do navigate how much is a co-coach. So there's a fee implication for a client, but in my view, setting on this journey of co-coaching, you're going to see and experience so much more in the landscape than having one set of eyes.
There's a lot of value, and I think in that too, supervision. And I can hear Tammy again. Tammy Turner saying supervision is important, and I'm very much an advocate of that. But having two coaches allows you both to unpack a session and to really bring supervision lens in, so that you are again not taking biases forward. You're giving each other feedback to understand how you showed up in the session and what were some of the concerns. So there's so much value that the team can benefit from in having two coaches partner and go on the journey together.
Yeah, I really like that idea of active collaboration together as professionals. You're in it together to learn and grow together. And occasionally, you might have some feedback that's a little bit on the nose, but it's gifted out of, trust and generosity. I think that's how we learn together.
Very much.
And I know we've got just similar and different backgrounds, but I'm 100% sure we'll learn from each other working together.
That's what happens. It's an ongoing journey.
Yeah.
And a great lens of learning as well. So,
Just a quick one before we finish. What do you think is some of your observations in your career about the secrets of collaborative working in teams? What would be is there anything that stands out to you as a hallmark of teams that have collaborated really well and successfully? What are the attributes in play for those teams?
Yeah, straight away, psychological safety and trust. That for me is the number one in terms of creating space for a team to really show up in a way that they can get to be real with each other.
We've got a little furry friend down below, haven't we? Hello.
So I think collaboration comes because they can have healthy debate, and they can do a lot more together with that transparency if they've got the trust within the team, and I guess the safety to lean in to each other and give that feedback that's constructive as well as positive reinforcement.
I think maybe psychological safety is worthy of a short discussion in itself, or a wee episode.
I think so.
Okay, we'll leave it there for today. Thanks for tuning in today, and we'll see you next time.